Hello everyone. This time we would like to analyze the food poisoning cases regarding the salmonella and interpret these particular cases in different point of view.
First of all, I will talk about the case background. According to the news, we found that there are 47 people had food poisoning after eating eggs in May and June 2019. And the case that we will focus is happened in 10th of May 2019. The restaurant is Tong Food, which is a fast food shop. Now I will explain more detail on the case. There are total 7 people affected in food poisoning. All of them ate shrimp and scrambled egg with rice, BBQ pork and egg with rice, scrambled egg and beef with rice at lunchtime in the same day. All the foods that they ate contain eggs. After a meal 21 to 33 hours, 3 people had abdominal pain, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, and fever, and the other 4 people had similar symptoms happened in 31 to 42 hours after a meal.
Now let's analyze the symptoms and the case comparison in the news. In the case, people suspected of food poisoning developed vomiting, diarrhea, abdominal pain, and fever. The symptoms of salmonella also have the above. Next, from the food the clients eat, we can see all foods contain eggs. And salmonella can come from meat, poultry, dairy products, and eggs. Another reason that we think is salmonella is the incubation period. In general, the salmonella incubation period is 6 to 72 hours, with an average of 18 to 36 hours. And we can see in the case, the client have some symptom in the 21 to 42 hours after a meal. For the incubation period, we also have more information because the symptoms will happen in the different stage.
After human intake salmonella by mistake, it will occur within 4 to 48 hours, about 24 hours on average. The shortest onset time is the more severe the symptoms. The main symptoms are diarrhea, abdominal pain, chills, fever, high fever maintained at 38 to 40 Celsius, nausea, vomiting, and symptoms will heal after 2 to 3 days, but 5% of people will become carriers. Fatal is less than 1%. Also, in the case, patients have symptoms such as abdominal pain, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, and fever occur after about 21 to 42 hours after a meal. Moreover, the patient's symptoms and incubation period coincided with salmonella.
Hi, this is Adrian. So let's talk about some of the possibility cause of its contamination. So there are 5 key points. So let's talk about with the first one. The bacteria maybe are present in the intestine and feces of infected chickens. So second, eggshell can be contaminated with the fecal matter. Third, the bacteria can be passed to the eggs when chickens sit on them. Fourth, the restaurant maybe used the egg that have not been pasteurized and is served only after a short cooking time. And last but not least, eggs are not fluently cooked.
In some other cases, food can also be contaminated by some other factors. For example, if we do not cook our food, particularly meat, thoroughly, we may be infected by the virus or bacteria that contained by the food. Secondly, it is important to store the food correctly. Some food are necessarily to be chilled at below 5 Celsius. Otherwise, the bacteria or virus are very likely to be found on the food. After cooking the food, it should be consumed in a very short period of time. It should not be leaving for a very long time. All food have its expiry date. We should be aware of the date. Do not intake any food that have already passed the use-by date. Furthermore, if we have to reheat some cooked food, make sure to reheat it sufficiently. Otherwise, the food may still contain with bacteria or virus when we eat it. Last but not least, whatever object may contact the food are a possible agent to contaminate the food. Touches the food with dirty hands, touches by ill person, or contact with other contaminated food may also cause contamination.
Food poisoning can be prevented by practicing food safety. There are 5 basic rules for food safety that are recommended by Center for Food Safety. The 5 keys to food safety are 5 simple and effective keys for people to follow when they're handling food to prevent foodborne disease. So let's talk about the 5 keys. The first one, choose wisely. Choose safe raw materials. Second, keep clean. Always keep hands and utensils clean. Thirdly, separate. Always separate raw meat or food and the cooked food. Fourth, cook. Always cook the food fluently. Last but not least, safe temperature. Always keep food at a safe temperature to prevent bacteria borne.
I'm Fred. In order to prevent such food poisoning cases happening again, actually there are severe control measures to avoid and prevent such a poisoning event. In these particular cases, obviously the main infected agent is Salmonella from egg. Therefore, regarding to reduce the risk of foodborne illness, the restaurant have to change the control measure in terms of food, personal, and environmental hygiene. And for these particular cases, they have to focus on the measure in terms of handling process and reliability of purchases as well. So I will suggest 6 strategies to those commercial restaurants in these cases as following. First of all, they should confirm the source of egg is from a reliable and qualified sources supplier such as Sogo, Marketplace, City Super, Justco, etc. And rather than purchase the source from the unknown supplier such as grocery store, even it might be cheaper, but you wouldn't know where is it from. And secondly, pay attention of the expiry date on the package of egg, because egg might not be used immediately and stored for a rather long time, and make sure if the egg would not be used immediately. So should be put in under refrigerator and confirm it operate in a appropriate temperature. And thirdly, as a general rule, egg need not be washed. However, if egg solid with fecal matter, They should be washed and should be used immediately. Some key points should be noted. First, if wash the egg in advance and put into a refrigerator, the fact that is the bacteria will be replicated more easily. And if put it in room temperature, it is also increase the rate of bacteria with replication. Therefore, the proper way is only wash by water and dry it before cooking. Some evidence have improved that the bacteria will be detected 50 times. And the fourth point is choose pasteurized egg to prepare a dish not requiring further heat treatment, in particular ready-to-eat desserts. Pasteurized egg has been recommended by the Center for Disease Control and Prevention (CDC) to reduce the risk of blood-borne illness. This is especially relevant when preparing recipes calling for raw or undercooked egg, like eggnog, spaghetti carbonara, and Caesar salad. These kinds of recipe requiring for uncooked egg. And the fifth point strategy is to use regular eggs for cooked egg recipe, and use pasteurized egg for sauces and other recipes that call for raw or partially cooked egg.
Expert in the video mentioned that before cooking eggs, the surface of the eggs should be washed.
And present a
this
higher
can reduce the
risk.
reproduction of bacteria and reduce the risk of infection with salmonella. In addition, the eggs must be cooked before they can be eaten. Also, many people do not understand how to handle eggs. Some people will wash eggs before putting them in the refrigerator, but this is a wrong approach. In addition, when the eggshell is dirty, it should be thrown away immediately and should not eat.
There are some advice given by the Center for Health Protection. These suggestions can be applied for preventing most of the foodborne disease. When consumers dining out, we should only go to reliable and licensed restaurants. These restaurants have fulfilled requirements on environmental hygiene and requirements on how to deal with the food. So it is more reliable to consume in a licensed restaurant. Secondly, we should avoid eating raw seafood. Any foods that have not been cooked thoroughly may still contain with bacteria or virus. If we are consuming cold dishes like sashimi or raw oyster, we should be very careful. Make sure the ingredients come from reliable supplier. Also, we should use 2 sets of chopsticks to handle raw and cooked food. It can avoid the bacteria or virus contaminate the cooked food from raw food. Furthermore, in old time, people believed salt, wine, or wasabi can kill the bacteria in the food, but it has been proved to be not effective, so do not believe any of these sayings. At last, hand hygiene are important, so remember to wash your hands before eating.
This is the end of our presentation. Big thanks for watching. It would be great appreciation if you guys comment. Thank you.